tougher enemies, newer mechanics, overclocking. Can we grasp a new meltdown heating mechanics, or will we explode in a fiery fireball? Let's find out. I'm currently under quite serious attack as I've just arrived. I have been messing around with overclocking. Yes, apparently you can overclock your stuff. It means they do significantly more powerful things, but they give off a huge amount of heat. So, you know how I was trying to sort out the engines and I couldn't figure it out? That was dumb of me. Now, I do in fact need to put heating pipes on them. But for now, the cones and the Loafy are building, growing, and expanding. The salvage support and supply ship is currently on its way back. It jumped all the way over to here with all this green stuff around and bought some overclocking things. I was going to overclock and then show you, but as you can tell, things have not gone according to the plan. The plan is currently trying to kill me. Now, what does overclocking do? Very, very simple. I will show you over here because I've just found out. I have overclocked the power capacitor, and as you can see, it is piped all the way at the back here, and it's constantly outputting heat. There was a very brief moment where I took away a pipe and the thing caught fire. This turns one piece of energy into 3 pieces of energy. That's how powerful it is. Everything can be overclocked. Like the engines can be overclocked. If I do this, you'll see it will suddenly start catching fire in a second. But now this engine is more powerful than before. Luckily, I don't need to connect this because of these 2 heat exchangers. But you may have noticed this is outputting an awful lot more heat than it was before. So I'm slowly but surely overloading and overpowering the Loafy. When the lance now charges and fires with all of these things on, there's a very high chance the entire ship will catch fire and explode. Well, that's definitely different. You can actually see the heat pouring off the back. You see that? The heat exchangers are pulling the heat from here. And you can see a ever slight difference between the 3 thrusters. It was doing 50 meters a second, it's now doing 80. And that's a lot of heat. Actually, oh, that is overheating. I actually can't do that. That is overheating. Turn these off. So that's my problem. My ships are too small. And radiators, oh my god, a tier 5. And a lot of shield are the future. The thing behind the thermal lens, by the way, is a dilation pump. There are 2 things you can plug into this. This one does a bigger air effect. The other one makes it hotter. Obviously, hotter isn't the best right now. So what I'm trying to do is use it significantly to go through multiple layers of shielding. Remember, it's a fire lance. So what that means is the enemy can just put the fire out if they survive. It's not doing the best. Luckily, I have overcharged power at the front. I can probably overcharge the shields as well. But the enemy is getting through it and the armor is going down. Have we gone through their shield? No. Why? It's a beam of fire. We may have to stop putting disruptors on the front. And in fact, disruptors may be a good bet because we've lost with this currently. We need to leave. Can we still talk to them? Yeah, we'll pay you to leave. There we go. They've gone. So we cannot currently destroy that. Luckily, the Gruz has either accepted our surrender or we accepted their surrender, so it's going to leave us be. But my ships are currently not available or able to go through the enemy. Wow, disruptors are huge, aren't they? That's a problem. So the Loafy now has 2 plasma disruptors. It can now take out shields quite effectively. And as you can see, we have to go through multiple areas to do it. It's awkward, but it's more armoured. Whether this will help us, we'll soon find out. Currently, we may be able to kill tier 4s. And as you saw, a tier 5 didn't even acknowledge our bloody existence. With a few alterations at the local station into... we now have this. I have connected the piping to these 2. So these 2 can now be overclocked immediately. This one cannot be overclocked. I have noticed, if you actually watch this bar here on the thermal resonance lance is the actual heat. So you see it on the lance first before the heat gets somewhere else. I bet you the bar goes up when we're in combat, but now we can actually use oh, we're already out of power. I have disconnected the back engines from the rest of the ship. That looks somewhat better. It's one of the most awkward designs I've ever built, but we now have access to the engines at the back. It's getting much more full of equipment. There's a lot less space, which means it's a fully functioning, expensive, hard-to-fix warship. Testing officially begins against a tier 4. Should be an easier kill than a tier 5. The beam is engaging, so it should do a more extreme area of effect. The heating is not climbing that high on this. Power's being used significantly, so we may have to start overclocking this as well. But as you can see, the beam is holding. Oh, the shields are down. And we have begun killing the enemy ship. It appears to me we may need some more armour and shield, but there we are. We have killed with some losses. And that's all that really matters, isn't it? Effective Loafy. There we go, it's dead. Oh, and so are we. It's the second time now the Loafy's exploded? Every time. While I'm over here currently selling everything I own, and the remnants of the ship apparently have another enemy next to them, I'm buying some overclocks, because let's face it, the overclocks are really quite powerful. What this means is I need to figure out even more piping for my ships, probably have to completely change them, which means I need a new class of ship, which means I need to build one. I am now working with piping, as you can tell. Welcome to the UL Coco, or the Lapsis Lazuli. Currently I have several things overcharged, like the small shield gens, power capacitors overcharged, the medium reactor. I tried overcharging the large thrust at the back, they caught fire. So obviously I need some kind of radiator, but right now we have huge amounts of thermal batteries. The heat goes into them, gets stored into here, and then it gets transferred to my 2 missile and mine launchers which are offline, and then put inside these thermal missiles. The actual cockpit and all the lasers are slightly offset, but all along a regular firing line along the front. It's not fully designed well yet, because obviously there's huge amounts missing, but I spent all my resources on it. You see 33k? I have mined a lot for this. Now currently, as you can see, it does pretty well. The lasers, because they're slightly offset, both get to fire at the front, and they both burn everything. Inside of it, I do in fact have these. These are giving it a massive boost to the damage. I think it's like 250 or 260% damage. So when this thing targets something, it starts to kind of melt. So it's doing huge amounts of damage. There's no extra AoE, but look at that. Half the ship is now on fire. And there we go, that's currently exploded. Yeah, it was meant to be an experimental test. There's only 4 engines on the back, so turning is slow and awkward. And obviously there's not enough crew, and I've had to take crew off the other 2 ships. But the ship is showing use. Because the 2 shields at the front are overcharged, they are bigger. Because everything at the back is overcharged, there's more power. It does, I think, need more crew. This might be a 40-man ship. It's not the best design, and I want some missile launchers. I've also discovered, after turning everything off, there are 2 overclock modes for the shield. This is the hardened shield, and this one here is the extended shield. We're going to have a much smaller, more powerful shield. So if I have like 4 at the front, this thing will be extremely hard to kill. Currently, it's extremely hard to catch up with things, because again, if I turn on the engines to super speed, like I do this, they will just catch fire. I don't know why. The pipes should take it out to over there. But as you can already see, it's getting hot in there, and it's already on fire. So even though I'm learning, there's teething trouble. Also, that teething trouble has claimed the lives of about 6 or 7 people who have burnt to death inside the engines. However, the actual ship itself, as you can see, the shields barely take any damage. The armour is quite thick too. So even when I'm actually getting shot at, I can burn the enemy. And also, I have realised if I accept the hails, they surrender, pay us, and leave. I can just accept money for them going away. I did that once, I didn't like it. Either I die or they die. There will be no middle ground. See that? They should burn. You see these people? They should burn too. Yeah, there we go. So we have a few issues. But when the fire starts, everyone in there dies. As you can see, it stopped shooting. It's still working, but everyone in there has turned into superheated dust. So I'm going to have more power, more radiators, and even more connectors to make the fire lance more powerful. Because let's face it, there isn't enough fire. This ship isn't burning immediately, is it? But even with that, it's still on fire, they're still dying, we've survived and killed 2 more ships. Even if the front of you has just destroyed, you are still a powerhouse. Good news, we've officially acquired a radiator. It's currently over here, awkwardly, because that's the only place I can put it. The engine still catch fire, even with that connected. I'm not sure why, I'll figure that out in a second. But we have all the crew and a few extra storages. So this thing is fully crewed and fully prepared for war, apart from, you know, the back or a lack of missiles. Obviously my big issue right now, when it's engaged, is the fact that it doesn't have any defenses and can't turn easily. So when it turns to take a target on, it obviously gets shot in the rear a lot. Luckily, smaller targets like this just instantly catch fire and die. Goodbye, Nettlesome. But bigger, singular targets like this are still a bit more of an awkward one to defeat. Luckily, I do have, you know, and point defense weapons, which are, as you can see, targeting everything. They're so good at targeting. But yeah, the lasers, as they are, still melt through. Shields are a bit tougher, but even with shields being on the ship, we are still going through. The trouble we're having is, as you can see, it just takes longer, which means my frontal armor should be a lot better. There's still gaps in my frontal armor, and my shields are still easily killed. So, shields and things still aren't the most easiest things to kill yet. We have set it on fire, but the missile fire from this thing has straight up killed us. We are probably still going to take it with us, which means a very expensive repair. But yeah, as you can see, they have trouble fighting it. This whole thing is now on fire. Half of my ship is gone. A large chunk of my ship is gone, but so is the enemy. So we once again traded ships, which isn't what I'm after, but it's what we currently have. So now I have to do another repair. So more armor, or maybe 2 more shields. So extra armor or extra shields, that's my current goal. And I'm thinking, why not both? And the easy answer to why not both is quite simple. I can't afford it and the ship's a little bit too small. I'd have to extend the nose at the front. But otherwise, we now have this going on. Is it going to do anything useful? We'll find out in the next engagement, won't we? If we ever replace this. And as you can see, the amplification is 280% because of these 2 things. It's only 50% dilation, which means we need to chuck on a few of those, but it does a lot more damage. In fact, we could probably do with some more dilation, which is area of effect. Lance dilation pumps, just put onto here. As you can see, 91%. Put one there. Oh, don't have any diamonds. And one there could probably be about 140%. Because they're connected to the entire system, everything on the system gets the update. If they're on their own little system, it'll be just the one thing. So I need at least 2 of these. Let's get some diamonds. And of course, the problem with these dilation pumps is it's even more energy needed, which means even more crew. Just because these things now do a bigger AoE, look at that, the entire thing is basically on fire at the front, and now means even more crew is needed. Oh, the point defense is finally working. Now that's not a big problem on a big ship, but we don't have a big ship, do we? We have a small ship I'm trying to make look like a big ship. Now it can melt the smaller ships, but as you saw in the tier 5, we're still having issues there. But with bigger AoE, maybe we could turn the entire area around the shield into a blazing inferno. But for now, slightly less so. At least repairs are cheap, only 22 metal. I had to turn off the overcharge of the medium reactor. Turning on the overcharge slowly overheated the entire ship. We have completely maxed out the current system of heating. We could probably use more heating if we were firing the missiles, but we only have 2. Parts are annoying. Although, if we go over here to the SSS Termite, you may notice there is a steel smelter on the back and a thermal canister missile factory. We can also overcharge these as well, but I'm not currently doing it. So I am making canisters, we just don't have them currently. And it only requires silicon and copper. So it's quite cheap to make them. Now I know we're going a little bit slow on the first couple of things we're doing here, but we need to figure out what these weapons do and how to exploit a massive fire lance. Eventually it'll just be a single fire lance in the centre with maybe a dozen things connected. And I might just do that. I might build a second one of these, the Lapsis class let's say, and just put a single fire lance with so many dilation pumps and connectors to it that it's basically like a god staff. But we'll find out maybe today. Either way, testing continues and combat continues. And I guess that's the ultimate question. Do I min-max a super fire laser, or do I have actual battleship style looking things like multiple lasers and missiles? As you know, I love fleet tactics, so having a single super ship might not be the way to go. I love just seeing 1 or 2 ships fighting multiple ships. What are you firing? Oh, cannons. Melt that thing down now. No, apparently my new style is sideways. That's what it's decided my ship should do. So even with this, as you can see, it hits the shield. The entire side's on fire from that fire laser. I brought the cones with us. It's just nice to have multiple fights at multiple times. I'd love to see more of a squadron-esque kind of thing going on. But I guess I'll take it. What have you killed? Why is part of my ship falling off? Oh no, the shield's on fire. Never mind. Your entire ship... Why aren't you firing? Wait, are you overheating? Why are we overheating? I think if I turn off you overcharged and you overcharged, that should solve a few more issues. So they should stop being on fire. I think because my ship is quite literally at the edge of being okay heat-wise, removing the 2 storages and having 4 shield gens has really screwed us. And also, as you can see, the fire is being fought. Did we lose anyone? 3 people died in the fire. Ugh. So I guess it comes down to preference. Do you like seeing a group of small ships fighting like the Cones was helping out the Lapsis? Or do you want to see one super ship like a big massive death laser on the Lapsis and that's it? How would you like to see your fleet battles going on in the future? Tell me now in the comments. Either way, for now, we continue testing and destroying the local pirate pop. After saying that, I of course have to test it. So we're only using one fire laser now, and we'll see how well this now does as a single super-powered weapon. God, I love testing. The super laser is firing. It looks like the ship is burning quicker. It's obviously a lower tier. There's an allied ship helping out, but it does look like the laser is killing quicker. Oh, look at that. The entire front is on fire. 200% dilation. I think it's more effective. I genuinely can't tell. Okay, a tier 4's just engaged us. How is the fire doing? It's hitting the shield. Is the shield burning? Obviously, there was another fire coming from the cones. The front's on fire. Last time it didn't do that. What that means is the fire dilation is going straight through and taking out the front. So the dilation of a single weapon is more powerful. Obviously, the shields have gone down. The armor will take the brunt. It is still burning. Looks to me like it's much more effective. It's hard to tell. This hitting here is not... Oh, it's turning. That was bad of them. Maybe a single super laser ship and use it as an artillery piece. I don't know. I'd still love an opinion. I think this proves a single fully charged one is more powerful than 2. Which means this entire design of the Lapsis needs a change again. I have officially figured out 2 things about the Lapsis. One, you may notice, is the piping. Why the engines do keep catching on fire is quite simple. Apparently, you can't connect through the reactor. It's quite clearly connected because you can see it online. See? When I turn on the overclock, it's clearly connected, but the heating isn't travelling through the medium core reactor. So I need to have piping going around it. It's a little bit annoying, but it seems to be overclocked items, because they can be turned on and off, do not count for a heat transfer. So this bit at the back is offline, this bit over here is offline, which means in reality I only have one radiator. And just like that, we now have heating to both sides of the ship. So there we have this, see that? That heating is now a lot lighter and it turns off now. So it's actually much better radiated. I now need to connect the engines too, which again I can't do through the medium reactor core, which means piping and heating now look a little like this. It's even more advanced and it works, but that also... Stop ramming me! Oh my god, Crucible, I'm trying to do something. But that now means this laser now has huge amounts of heating and the 2 back engines are turned on and we have 2 radiators. Also, I have huge amounts of dilation pumps and amplification pumps. This thing now shoots at 550% damage and 250% AoE, which means it melts a larger area a lot faster. Let's go testing. I will say as it travels, you can clearly see the thing slowly heating up from the reverse thrusters. You can also see them firing weirdly, mostly because it needs a few more thrusters to run perfectly. And our first customer is a tier 4 phalanx. Luckily we're firing the thermal missiles, which immediately hit an asteroid. Good. Glad to see they're being useful as always. Even greater news, the enemy ship is hiding behind this gold asteroid. Luckily, the spotters just got involved, and as you can see, that is immediately fully on fire. We're taking fire at the front, the shields are partially down, I have armoured it more. You can see the heating is massively increasing. I think I need to turn these off, so I have. We can see we may need more radiators once the laser fires. Luckily, everyone stopped working on the laser for some godly reason, and it's completely out of power, meaning we need more crew. So we need more radiators, more crew, more shield. I made a new class of troops called Loader. All they do is quite literally load the main laser. Please do your damn job. So hopefully that will solve a few more issues. Keep loading, keep firing. Luckily the ship is on fire. It had cannons on the front and they're gone. As you can see, the fire is still spreading perfectly. So this overheats too much. But the enemy still dies. You can see a lot of the actual weaponry has turned off completely because so many pumps require so much power, which means a bigger ship, so we can't super laser it yet. But the initial testing has shown super effectiveness against tier 4s and below. And only for the loss of 3 people. Perfect. In fact, we've already basically repaired our ship. So yeah, a few issues with power, but otherwise working as intended. Except this bit here. Apparently all my crew are now trapped inside the airlock hatch. Did not notice that at all. That may have been where our energy problems were. Everyone was in an airlock. Okay, solved that. Let's try that again. We don't have any extra crew, but I've now sorted out a few of the crew positions. So for tier 4 and a tier 1, the laser should turn and burn. The loaders should load the damn gun. We're obviously going to gain a bit of heat. The missiles have fired. It has killed the wrong target, but oh, the missile hit. It is now hot on the front. There's a nuclear missile on the backup. I forgot about that. If you can turn that into radiated dust, I'd be very happy. So the heating is still going through. The entire front of the ship is already on fire. There's even fire back here, as you can see, which went straight through the shield, because heating hit the shield and it dissipated around to the local area. With all the extra crew no longer in the airlock, it is powering, it is running. The tier 4 ship died immediately. Whether it will kill bigger ships will be the next test, but I'm okay with how the Lapsis currently is. It's time to bring back the other 2 ships, the Cones and the Loafy, and go a-killing. I am beginning to think multiple lasers on smaller ships might be the way to go as opposed to one big laser. All this extra stuff that has to power up is really causing problems for my crew. So obviously you need a lot more crew to do things. I have made the gunner and loader class. We'll see how well they do. And hopefully that solves my overheating and all my issues. Which does go to show that sorting out the heating is actually a crew intensive thing. This is why we're doing the testing. Of course, once doing the testing to see how well this goes through, it's already on fire at half speed. And let's carry on firing at the other thing. So obviously this ship can't turn fast. Oh, the engines are gone. So even though it's shooting me, it is still very on fire, and the entire front exploded at 8 times speed. Cool, that was dizzying to watch. We are killing everything. The laser works, and it looks to me like the heating kept up with the gunner class. Of course, that only matters if you have a thermal lance, like I do. Oh, here's an interesting target. We have a tier 5, which is shields and cannons. Can I breach the shields and kill the cannons? Is the Lapsis good enough for that yet? We're about to really find out. Now, we have the range. If we had more reverse, obviously we'd be able to kill it a lot better. But we don't have reverse, so all I have is the laser. At 1 times speed, the enemy is still getting through, and I'm not heating them. That's good. Great. It's a bit on fire on the edges, but yeah, you can see this. It's not getting through. Even with all the extra updates, it's having trouble. I'm not sure why it's having trouble. It has somehow set fire to the shield gen at the back, which is good, so the shield gens do eventually take it. But yeah, this is a problem. Luckily, the damn thing caught fire before it could finish me off, but that could have killed me. A tier 5 killing me. So we need to work on the fire lance. So currently the fire lance can't get through shields fast enough to kill the target, which is a problem. I'm back with the Loafy, and I can definitely confirm that the pipes only work if they're connected to things which are always on. Any overclock things they will just not connect to. So I'm trying to build another heat thing over here through this, and it just refused to accept the heat pulling from over here to here. I've also changed it a bit, so now there's overclocking in the standard thrusters. That's the first thing I have noticed. The other thing I noticed was on the Lapsis Lazuli. Apparently, both of these lance dilation pumps weren't actually connected to anything, because they were again going through an item which cannot be connected to even when overclocked. So these now connect through here, and along here, which means this now has 500% area of effect. So the laser will now hit entire chunks of the ship. So even if a shield does stop it, it will now hit everything behind the shield as well. And the Lapsis now has the cones and the Loafy defending it, as again they're always being upgraded. But now the death beam from the Lapsis is a slightly more powerful beast. Look at the clink. The entire clink was on fire. That's the power of a death beam. It's not a super death beam yet, because I have ideas of how to make the beam better. The idea is to have every one of these connectors somewhere at the back, and a pipe going all the way through to the laser. So all the stuff at the back will be powered, and the laser can supercharge. The current version, as you can see, overheats quite quickly, but it only stops being overheating because half of the stuff just goes offline. If it was also using its engines to keep in position and fight the enemy, I think it would overheat and catch fire. But for now, it just holds. Maybe more radiators. I'm still debating the more radiators rule because it does work, but we brought the fleet back together. The Cones is engaging a tier 5 Hellion over here, a pirate hunter. And we obviously have the Lapsis and the Loafy coming in. I've changed it a little bit. Mostly I've tried to make sure all the piping works while I put the piping of the cones and the Loafy at the same place, so everything is fully piped. They all have 2 disruptors to bring down shields and 2 point defense. I'm not happy where the point defense are, but they have them. All the piping seems to work. I'm keeping an eye on it. And the extra heating and the extra AoE does work wonders. When the main ship, the Lapsis, fires, the whole ship now catches fire. Obviously, a bit more damage would be good. The Loafy has been changed too, very importantly. You see those markers? I'm now putting markers on ships when the central reactor or the cockpits are destroyed. If the ship is technically out of action, it gets a marker. The Loafy has died twice. The Lapsis has also currently died twice, but there's no paint scheme, so it's just on the side. So out of my fleet of 4 ships, 2 of them have died 4 times. Technically, my entire squadron has exploded. Luckily, the one ship which has never exploded is the SSS Termite, which is still undergoing design issues. I'm still unsure how I want it to look, so it currently looks like this. Usually how I build my support stuff is either a hammerhead design with a massive amount of cargo behind it, or I literally just steal one of the AI ships. But for now, let's cleanse the sector. Our latest contestant is a Musketeer, which is a railgun-based ship. Obviously, railgun-based ships are more powerful, longer range. It has a shield, so you can see 2 of the 3 beams are in. Damage outside of the shield. The shield is again stopping the heat getting through effectively. I think we have to literally burn... Oh my god, it fired. You have to burn the shield gen first. It's not the most effective, but we can still do it. So heat-based missile systems are probably going to be liberally placed upon the Lapsis. Although it looks to me, yes, shields are still a problem. Luckily, the Loafy has tanked a few hits. It is... Please, kill that. Yeah, burn the weapon shooting at you. That's a good Loafy. Looks to me like we've killed the ammo at least. Good. Our second customer to make sure dead is truly dead is a Moth. Now these things obviously have a shield gen in the middle which protects the main part, but also they have a lot of guns outside of the shield. Now I can obviously easily kill that because it's being hit by missile after missile after missile because I've activated the second one. Apparently it also has its own missiles, but yeah, the defences aren't well protected at tier 5. We're going to have to push on to tier 7 in the next one. It means it's going to be tougher fights, probably a lot more deaths, but the enemy needs to know how tough we are. And I don't know that answer yet. And my ships need to stop trying to phase tank the enemy. I've told the Loafy to go further back. Oh, and another Moth. See, that's what happens when you attack on your own Loafy. You get double Mouthed and you probably explode again. Now, luckily, the Moth is dead. Of course, we now have a second one to kill, but there we are. So that's down. Now take on the second one. Are you at your distance now? Yes, you are. Good. The Loafy's turning in combat to face that one. It just took missile after missile and cannon shots to the side of the face. I don't see the point defense actually firing, if I'm honest. They only seem to fire when they feel like it. I may have to work on them. The front of the ship is gone. The Loafy may explode again. The fire lance is not firing. It means they are out of ammo. The crew, oh, where are the crew? The crew are all reloading the front. This doesn't have loaders and gunners, so the Loafy is on a lower level. The Lapsis is slowly getting there. Where's the cone? The cones are still defending the scavenger. I didn't realise it was out there. So currently the Loafy is on its own, losing shields. The fire lance is not fully equipped. You definitely get loaders and gunners. More mistakes. And the shields are about to be shot out the heart. Oh, everything on the front's also on fire. Come on, Lapsis, defend the Loafy. Defend the Loafy. If it explodes a third time, I'll be very unhappy. It's about to explode a third time. The Loafy has... Oh, not exploded a third time. It was just saved. That was lucky. So we are going to push on to a more tougher target. Obviously, there are a few issues human-based. But now we're going to see how well I can do with what I can do. Oh wow, the Loafy nearly did completely explode. That's not a kill, because it technically can still work. And our final real tester zone, a tier 6 fugitive bounty. Obviously we should be able to kill it with these 3 ships, because let's face it, there's 3 of us and 1 of them. Oh, a scrap knight. I love the scrap knight. Now the Lapsis now has multiple missiles. We obviously have the big beam in the centre, and we have outriders. So when the beams hit, the entire front catches fire. Now obviously the back weapons are the problem, and they're behind shields. And that shield looks insanely too big. Is it being overcharged? Oh, there's 2 of them. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Now luckily with the beams... Oh, it's going after the cones. It does mean we can just set the entire thing on fire from multiple angles. So multiple ships might actually be way too powerful to fight. So even though the enemy is hitting us hard, they aren't hitting us as hard as they could. Because obviously once they focus on a ship going round them, they're constantly chasing it, which means the other beams are burning everything. And I don't see enough anti-heat stuff like fire extinguishers on the older ships. So right now, fleet tactics are devastating against the weaker targets. However, we need to send the Loafy against a single tier 6 to see how that does. Yeah, just burn. How are you still alive? There's nothing left. There we go. You've killed the people in the cockpit. We have a Valkyrie, which is kind of cool. That's going to be easy to kill though, sadly. So, how does our big ship compare to tier 6? Obviously, tier 6s are much better designed than mine and are already completed. The beam, however, has done massive AoE. I mean, look at that. The entire centre's on fire and the whole thing exploded. So I'd say good against the Valkyrie. Let's find a more armoured and shielded target. Great news, our double armoured and shielded targets are the Ambuscader and the Ossipon, which were inside a graveyard. And I met them because I'm inside a graveyard. The Lapsis might explode. Now, luckily, well, they are actually shielded. Luckily, they're shielded, so that's great. We need to burn one of them because the other one's going to cause problems. What have we got? That one's a missile ship. At least the point defense is finally firing. Is there anything on fire here yet? No, we haven't set anything on fire. Good, we are on 1/4. Let's get to half. They're on the rear. Obviously, this thing can't turn very well because it needs more thrusters on the front. We are burning. Looks like... oh! Looks to me like the Lapsis will explode. We are, however, getting through it. So that is still good. We are still burning everything. We should take the Ambuscader with us. And if we really want to, let's change the beam over to here and take this. Yeah, see, that's basically gone, and this one is already on fire. Okay, I will take this. Is that a nuke? It's firing nukes. Uh-oh. Nuke. Okay. The nuke hit the shield of a fine. And this ship is also heavily on fire. I think we classify this as a victory. Although, apparently all of my... oh, that was a nuke. A lot of my crew are not doing their jobs. I think we're completely out of power across the board. Missiles are desperately trying to be reloaded. Heat is still doing well. That was a nuke! Oh, and my crew are dead. Good news, the Ambuscader is stuck on the front of our ship. We literally can't turn because the remnants of that ship are holding my ship steady, which means a nuke's about to hit us on the front. Get the hell off of my nose. We need to kill the Ambuscader because it's going to kill the Lapsis by being there. The engines have been nuked. We've lost the engines. We've taken out the Ossipon too. It looks like a 2-for-1. So the Loafy is good at what its job is. The Lapsis looks like it still can do its job. It can still kill targets. Shielded targets are a bit more of an issue, as we've seen, but it still killed both ships. A shielder and a nuclear missile deterrent. Oh, it even dropped mines. It dropped bloody mines. Okay. And the point defender can at least shoot the mines. And we've won. There's a few repairs to do, but we've won. I'll take that. And even better news, there was enough resources from the dead ships to replace this. 4 people have apparently died, but I will take it. We carry on, we fight. Or the Loafy and the Cones get ambushed by Orisha over here, and now they're both engaging it. Now, these ships are not designed for, obviously, single combat against the Tier 6 stuff. And the Tier 6 stuff, as you can see, is faster than me. The Loafy is having trouble catching up. The other beam is catching up, although the Loafy will be right behind the Cones. Luckily, there's no crew in... why aren't you crewing the front of the ship? Luckily, the second beam has come up. We might be able to save the Cones. Let's burn some of its rear engines. There we are, burned. Look at the speed of this thing. Okay, we've taken out the engines. It can't get away anymore. The shields have still held. It is still a problem with the shields. We will have to figure out countermeasures for shields. But either way, we are still killing. Unfortunately, Rishas are faster than us, but we won't be seeing too many of them. The Cones have survived. Just the reactor... oh! Cones back away now. Cones is gone. That's its first death. Luckily, the Loafy will engage and burn the rest of it. But yeah, this has been enlightening. Luckily, we have avenged the Cones. How? Because I put enough heat into the shield that the shield has caught fire and killed every single crew member behind it. So just more heat to go through shields, apparently. So we're going to have even more amplification pumps per ship. Maybe these ships only have amplification. They don't need air effect. They just need to go through shields depending on what the target is. The bigger ships will be entire areas. But either way, the Loafy and the Cones, they've killed a tier 6 on their own. I'm going to have to find the cone's wreckage. I think it's over there, but they did it. There we are, there's the kill. Well done, you survived. With the Loafy fully repaired and half of the cones back in action, you are getting your marker codes, not getting away from that. It's safe to say the Loafy, the cones, and the Lapsis are now officially a combat 7 fighting strength. I'm going to cleanse this sector of everything else, get enough people to see how many crew I have, and then we're entering the next sector. According to my map, we have a 6 to 8 or a 7 to 9. We are obviously going to go straight into the 7 to 9 and see how weak we truly are and bully the Cabal of Sol. Yes, we're picking a side and we're killing the Cabal. So let's rearm, regroup, repair, and prepare for the Great War. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, as always, patrons get named and die first, but everything gets named if you ask. Good luck. See you soon.